All right, now let's see the second method we can use to connect to the MongoDB database, which I said is my preferred method. So first off, we're going to need to bring in Mongoose inside of this file here. So let me just bring that in. So I'll come here and say, you know what, I think I already brought in Mongoose in my server file. So where it starts, yeah, this one. Great. So I'll just grab this guy just to save some time. So let's bring that in, but by all means you can type it out so that you can start developing muscle memory. So I'll bring in Mongoose inside my server.js, and then just after my port I'm going to say Mongoose, and then I'll say .connect. So first off, I'm going to connect. How are we going to connect? Remember, we're going to look for the URI inside of our process, inside of our .env file. So we're going to say process.env, then mongo_URI, because that's the name of the variable there. Now let me bring this to the next line here. So .connect, I'll tap that. Now we can tack on a .then, because this process is asynchronous. So if I come down here, because it's asynchronous, I can now say .then. That needs to be small letter, and then I'll just open up an arrow function like this. So let's just make that like so. Inside of this arrow function is where I will now grab this my app.listen, which is to listen to the server. I'll copy that, and then I'll just paste that in here. So it's going to listen, it's going to connect first to MongoDB, then we're going to now listen, fire up the server and listen for any changes. Then if there's any error, let's just come here and maybe catch any possible error. So I'll say .catch, and then I'll just do this twice, and let's just have a error here. Then we're just going to log the error to the console. So let me just do that log, and I'll just say error. This is it. Essentially, this is all we need to connect to MongoDB. So I don't know which one you prefer. Of course, I need to test it first. So let me test it first before I start, talking. So I'll come here and comment out all of these guys that you see here. I'll comment it out so it's null and void. So essentially, this is our connecting to MongoDB and then firing up our server. I'll save that and see if we have any error. So let's hit fire up. Okay, so you see here it says server running on port 5000, and we don't have any error. That's why this is actually able to fire up the server. Ignore the fact that we're not getting any MongoDB connected. If there is any error, none of these processes will fire. So what I'll do is I'll try and simulate an error. So I'll come here, and instead of saying MongoDB URI, I'll say Mongo UR. I'll just remove the I so that this does not exist, and then I'll save. Now watch what happens. Aha, so you see we get an error. So I'll scroll down, scroll up, and you can see it's telling us that the URI parameter blah 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 must be a string. In other words, it's undefined. So I just wanted to show you that before you can make the connection, fire up the server, listen for any changes on the server, it has to connect first. All right, if we go ahead and undo this, so Ctrl Z and then save, then it should fire up, and then we'll get server running on port 5000. Great. So this is the second way we can connect to MongoDB, and I honestly prefer this way because it's just your code is just in one place. So you know what I'm going to do to keep this file clean? I'm just going to copy all of this. I'll cut it, Ctrl X, and I'll just transfer it to this connect DB, maybe at the bottom here. I'll just paste that in, so you'll have it there. This is what you need to. Let me just add a comment here. I'll say use this function in server.js to connect to MongoDB and start the server. All right, so if you feel like you prefer this first method, which is this long method, in my opinion, you can just transfer this to the server.js. but in all honesty, this is what I prefer. All right, thank you so much, and let's continue the project.